Not everyone has a big budget for a flagship phone, so let's shrink it down and talk about something that gives you that near flagship experience for less. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm reviewing the Pixel 8a. So let's just start off this review by looking at the body. First of all, the phone is IP67 water and dust resistant. You've also got stereo speakers, which get pretty loud. Now they don't have much low end to them, so they sound decent, but at least they get loud. And looking at the phone itself, you're gonna see my favorite part, which is this blue color. It's actually by far my favorite color on any phone. And just looking at the backside, you won't be able to tell, but it's actually plastic. As a result, the phone is not very heavy, and at the same time, it doesn't feel cheap. It's got a nice smooth texture to the back, and combined with the metal side rails, the plastic hardly makes a difference. Especially since you still get to keep the wireless charging at the back, it's just not reverse wireless charging. And let's be honest, you're probably gonna put a case on your phone anyways, like most people do, regardless if the back is plastic or glass. And at which point, most of your attention goes towards this display. So let's talk about it. The phone has a 6.1-inch OLED panel with a 120Hz refresh rate. Basically, it's got good colors and it feels smooth and responsive. But just so you know, that smooth feeling with the 120Hz refresh rate is disabled by default. So if you want it, you gotta turn it on. They probably did that to save on battery life, but just as a disclaimer, all of my testings have been with that setting turned on. As for the brightness, indoors it's great and outdoors is fine as well. Even though I would like it to be a little bit brighter outside, but it is still viewable. It's honestly a really good display, except when you look at those bezels. These thick bezels are probably one of the first things that I've noticed, but honestly, I got used to them. Apart from that, no real complaints, and you even get an optical fingerprint sensor. So overall, this display gets a B+. Now another good thing is that this phone uses the same Tensor G3 chip that's in the Pixel 8. And so in my experience, performance has been great. Even when playing games, this phone runs smooth. And usually mid-range or budget phones don't always run smooth, but this does. See, for any phone, software makes a huge difference. The hardware can be amazing and good, but if the software is trash, then I wouldn't really want to use the phone. And with the 8a, you get the same Pixel UI that's on the other phones, which is smooth, fluid, and bouncy. It's honestly great. It's the little things like how the app opening animation starts fast and then ends slow as it fills the frame. Or how elements of the UI bounce around when you're going through menus and whatnot. These things may not seem like a huge deal, but to me, they just add to how fluid and smooth the phone feels. So basically, the performance and software of this phone is great, especially since you get all the other features of the other Pixel phones, like for example the Magic Eraser or Circle to Search. On top of that, you get 7 years of software support, so even if you don't decide to keep your phone that long, or if you give it to somebody else, it'll still be supported. Now occasionally I did notice some stutters here and there, but nothing too bad. So overall, the performance and software gets an A. And you know what's also good? The battery life. While testing, I got around 5 to 6 hours of screen on time, and on some days, if it's really light, 7 hours. This is screen on time, so when I'm actually using the phone and looking at it, not including the times where it's just sitting there turned off. Obviously, this number is gonna vary based on how you use your phone. If you're like me and on most days you're just on social media or casually browsing the internet, then your battery life is gonna be better than if you were to use it more intensively. Like for example, draining apps like Google Maps and camera, video recording, etc. Now the standby time when I'm not using the phone is also great. I didn't really notice it drain too much in between use. The phone did last me the whole day, but when I had to charge it, it was kind of slow. See, I'm used to my phones charging in under an hour, and this took an hour and a half to charge to 100%, which is not too bad, but phones nowadays have really sped up. Overall, the battery life is good and the charging speed is nothing special, but still I rate it an A-. Now on to everyone's favorite part, the camera. The Pixel 8a comes with 2 cameras on the back, a standard wide and an ultra wide, and then on the front you get a normal wide. There's no telephoto or zoom lens. It's essentially the same set of cameras as the Pixel 7a, but I assume since it has a Tensor G3, it'll have some better processing. As for the photos, they're pretty good. Full of contrast, good dynamic range, sharpness is alright. One thing that I did notice was that they tend to be a little darker than in real life. Essentially, the camera was underexposing the photos a little bit, but overall, as with any Pixel phone, the camera quality for photos is great. Video, however, is a little bit different. In good lighting, it's great, good quality video.
This is a test of the audio and camera in kind of low lighting.
but low light is where it kind of suffers. And with video from the front-facing camera, just take a look at this real quick. And this is a test with the camera front-facing outside in natural lighting, daylight. Did you notice anything? Take a look again and look at my face. Front-facing outside. Apart from my face looking amazing, it's actually been brightened up by the software. Because in real life, my face was not that bright, especially with the light and sun sort of behind me. It kind of makes it look a little unnatural. I wouldn't mind if it was a bit more subtle, but this just kind of looks a little weird. Plus, I don't know if it's just me, but the audio sounds a little bit muffled. I wish it was a little bit more clear. And I wasn't even blocking any of the mics, so I don't know. Apart from that, you still get the AI features and the magic eraser from the other Pixel phones. So really, you're not missing out with it being a budget phone. Overall, good photos, decent video, I give it a B. Now that you know everything important about the phone, here's where it's getting a little bit of hate. See, depending on where you live, the phone is $200 to $300 cheaper than the Pixel 8. Which to me is a good enough price difference between two phones that aren't very different. So naturally I would say go with the Pixel 8a. You save money and you get a phone that's very close to the flagship Pixel 8. Of course, apart from a couple differences. In fact, pause if you want, but here's all of the differences between the two phones. And they're not big differences either. The Pixel 8a has a lot of the important features that people look for, but the issue for others is when this happens. The Pixel 8 on sale is like $20 more than the Pixel 8a. With a difference so small, people are saying, why would anyone buy this phone when the 8 is better? Why does this exist? Etc. Which I gotta say is true. If you find the Pixel 8 on sale and you're comfortable with that amount, then get it. It's a better phone and it's a good phone. But if you want to save more money, then wait for this to go on sale. Because if that goes on sale, this 100% will. And with how little the differences are between the two phones, this one will be an even better value. In short, I really like the value that the Pixel 8a brings, especially with it being a budget or mid-range phone. And with how close it is to feeling like a flagship. The phone really reminds me of the S21. It was a flagship for its time, and it was also plastic. It was very similar to this actually. Except that this being cheaper, it gives a better value than the S21 ever did. So yeah, I definitely recommend the Pixel 8a with my overall grade of B+. Now, if you find this phone for cheaper, then that rating might go to an A-. In short, I like this phone, and if you get it, I think you will as well. And just like that, if you like this video, then hit like, and if you loved it, then subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.